Hi, I'm Doug DeMuro.
And I'm Tyler of Hoovie's Garage.
And this is Hoovie and Doug Talk About Cars. It's a show with a very simple premise. Hoovie and Doug are going to talk about cars. There's not much to it. We're filming it in front of a cloak or something. And it's going to go up every week or every 2 weeks or whatever we decide. And every episode there's going to be a new theme. We're going to discuss a new automotive-related topic. And all of the cars that we're talking about in the episodes, you can click below in the description, and there are links to all of the cars or all the search results on Autotrader where you can go and buy them.
Thank you for watching, and enjoy our episode of our first show. Our first episode of our first show. It's a first of a first, and a first. It's Inception.
All right, we're going to talk about our favorite cars that we have owned. Favorite cars that we've personally owned. My favorite car that I owned ever, I think, is my Land Rover Defender, which is like the coolest thing I've ever had.
Really?
The only time I ever feel cool is when I'm driving that car.
Just because you hang around Nantucket and that whole scene.
And did you ever see She's All That?
Yeah.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, that's you.
I believe that I am that when I'm driving the car. I believe that I'm Freddie Prinze Jr.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're going to find a... The plot of that movie's not very good. It's actually very sexist, right?
But it's a very funny movie, and Paul Walker's in it, and it's a very funny movie, and I feel like Freddie Prinze Jr. when I'm driving that car.
Nice.
And only then, when I get out of the car, then I go back to being a normal person who's kind of a dweeb.
Right, which is interesting how this all turned around, because initially you'd made a video on the Defender just totally annihilating it.
Oh, and it's a terrible car. It certainly is the worst car I've owned.
But that was a big saga in Doug history of you having to apologize on YouTube to the people of the United Kingdom because you blasted this thing so bad.
Right, I forgot about it, and it's terrible, and it is terrible. People in the UK even are like, these are great. And it's like, well, it rusts, and you can't keep oil in it and water out of it.
My favorite car, and I have it, the 355. It is amazing. It's amazing.
Even with those wheels.
Even with those wheels.
Have you thought about going back to stock wheels?
No.
Those stock wheels are far more attractive.
No. That is very, I know it's not the challenge wheels, but it's very period. The whole car has that period kind of mod thing to it.
Have you considered changing the wheels?
No.
You know what my problem with yours is?
Oh, boy.
The wheels, the color, and the body style.
Oh, boy.
Coupe is the right color.
Basically, everything is wrong with my Ferrari.
Well, no, you don't have an F1 transmission, and that is where, if you did, then it would be a real problem.
The convertible gives you a front row seat to that beautiful exhaust. Capristo.
That is true, although you can have both. The GTS gives you a hardtop, you know, or like it gives you the things in the back, the pillars in the back that everybody loves so much that sort of flow down the side of the car, but you can also take the roof off. That's the dream, the GTS.
Right.
A red on tan 355 GTS with a stick. That's the dream.
Okay, but we're talking about cars I've owned, and this was about the only attainable Ferrari for me that was actually good, and I got it. It's great.
And it is a
good car. It's amazing.
They're cool.
It's amazing.
When they're working, 355 is
Mine's worked.
best.
I'm jinxing myself now, but yeah, 500 miles. I've pretty much daily driven it for a week. It's
what do
fine.
People say? People, you show up at 355. What do people say to you?
Nothing. It's great.
But you pull up outside like a Target, or people are like, whoa.
Nothing.
Nobody says
it's under the radar. It looks enough like a Fiero, I guess. Yeah.
And exotic cars now are also insane, and that one was from an era when that style was considered insane, but it wasn't as insane as they've gotten.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few like, how much does that cost? And I get to say more than you can afford, pal. You know, that kind of stuff. But no, it's not bad.
Was it a black Spider?
It was a black Spider. With the challenge wheels on it, chromed challenge wheels. So my wheels are, but it looks like that car.
That is your favorite car you've owned?
No.
The best car I've ever owned was my Buick Roadmaster estate.
Yes, those are fantastic cars. I get emails from people offering me to review those mint ones across the country, and I got to do it at some point because it's such a crazy car.
Of course.
Wood paneling down the side.
Wood paneling, the pillow top seats.
Yeah.
In the 94 to 96, they were scaling down production. They're like, we don't have a motor to put in these things, so they put in the LT1,
right?
So they get detuned Corvette engine,
right?
And it's so much fun. It's so comfortable. Dyna-ride suspension,
right?
Concert sound 2 stereo,
giant rear end.
Oh,
you could put anything in the back of that car.
Oh yeah.
No, that is a good car. So the one you owned was exported to Germany.
Apparently that's what the Carfax says. I tried to find it, and that's where it went.
And that's where it went to Bremerhaven. It said imported. In D.C., there was always one in Georgetown in the same spot. When I was walking around, I'd see it, and it had Diplo plates on it that were German. And that's the kind of car that I think that attracts those people, because it's like the American car.
Yeah.
Wood-paneled, V8, rear-wheel drive, massive station wagon. That is like America to Europeans.
So what else is on your list?
I always loved I had a 2001 Mercedes E55 AMG, which was the 210 body style. That car I loved deeply because it was just so cool.
And interestingly, more than the 500e. I remember reading that.
Yeah, the 500e I thought was a little outdated and it was kind of boring. And if Porsche didn't have a hand in the 500e, no one would care about that car today. Right. No one would care about the car.
It's so overhyped at this point.
It's so overhyped.
And
people,
the E50.
People are like, they sell on Autotrader. Autotrader, there's people asking 80 grand for it. It's ridiculous.
Right.
And
the E55 is a little more under the radar. It's starting to get a little.
One for 15.
Yeah.
They're very reliable. They're faster. If Porsche hadn't been a part of that, no one would have cared about it. It was a Mercedes engine. People are like, oh, it's a 928 engine. No, it isn't. It's the same 5-liter V8 from the SL. It wasn't anything. The E55 was the coolest car, and it was reliable, and it was from an era when they were still reliable and solid, and it felt good.
The problem is just not the best looking.
Oh, you don't like
It's
that?
a little, I mean, it's kind of that weird in between of the boxy and the roundy kind of bulbous thing. At least the nose, it's a little weird. Wow. See, because mine, the C36, I still have it. That's my favorite. I had a CLK55. I liked it too.
I didn't like that body style CLK55.
Yeah,
the first one I hated it. The second gen is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I agree. I like that car though, but I think the C36 is just beautiful.
Oh yeah,
beautiful.
So cool. Such a nice looking car.
Yep.
Such a nice looking car. The problem with the E55 was that it had the same boxy look, but it had the circle headlights.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
But who cares? I don't care. When I'm driving the car, I don't have to see it.
I guess.
I don't have a picture of the car in the car, so I'm looking at what I'm driving.
But the C36, you don't have to. There's no. You don't have to tell. And mine has 213,000 miles on it. It's still beautiful.
I like that car. What do you want for that car?
It's mine.
I'll give you $800 cash for that car today.
I paid $5 grand for it. Yeah, great. And I probably spent another $5 grand keeping it up.
Give me $900 maybe.
Oh boy. Okay.
No, the C36s are cool.
I've lost more money on my YouTube adventures, so yeah.
Well, hey, here's another opportunity to lose a little more.
Right.
Break that off.
Now your SL, you loved that the ugly era SL.
Yeah, well, it's sort of a family heirloom. It was my first car. I still have it.
Do you like it only because it's a family heirloom? Do you admit that it's ugly?
No, it is not ugly. But mine's the European. Mine's the Euro.
People say that to me like it makes a difference.
It does.
I know the bumpers were bad. But
headlights.
But I mean, it still has the front end looks like a Viper. It's so long, and then the rear, the wheel arch doesn't go over the whole wheel. Why is that?
That's a common thing back then.
Yeah, the Pagoda was a nice looking automobile.
Yes. Yes, it's an evolution of that. I mean it's weird, but it's not. You are offended by it, and I don't understand why you were so offended by it.
I'm tremendously offended. And the SLC is one of the truly ugly cars that has existed in our lifetime.
Yeah.
RX-8 SLC.
The RX-8 is ugly.
Yes.
Very ugly.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, we agreed on something. This is great.
If you had to pare down your fleet into one automobile, in other words, how many cars do you have right now?
16 and a half or something like that.
Okay.
If you count the LeBaron that I have buried, 16 and a half.
All right, you got 16 and a half cars.
Yes.
There's no access to LeBaron. I assume you wouldn't choose that one anyway. Which, if you had to pare it down to one, like you move to New York City, you got one parking space, what are you driving?
I'd rather die.
Then you move to New York?
Yes. People ask me this. It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. I guess the C36 or the Cayenne Turbo.
C36. You take a 200,000 mile C36?
That's what. But I would probably sell them all and then get one nice car. I could barely afford one decent car.
The secret about you is you have one decent car. You have this GMC pickup that you bought.
It's a company truck. It's a company provided.
Yeah, but you're self-employed. That's the sort of crap I heard in my life.
A small percentage of this company. You walked into the store, you take one step into the store, that is my percentage of the company.
Yeah, but with that percentage, you bought yourself the truck. So that's the secret. So the answer is if you could pare it down, you would continue driving the truck with the ventilated seats and all the other stuff.
I guess so. But yeah, it's a tax thing. Yeah.
I got the hoopty fleet, but I'm driving around an electric pickup truck.
You just called me out. Yes. This is.
But anyway, so the C36.
Hoover exposed.
The C36 or the Cayenne Turbo. That's the answer.
Okay. Yes.
Really?
Yes, that would be really yes. Yeah, probably a really nice Cayenne Turbo.
Those are good cars. I'll accept that from you.
Great.
Okay.
So this is over.
Right, that's that. And that's been another episode of Hoovie and Doug Talk About Cars.
We talked about cars real good.
Thank you for watching. And remember, you can click the links below to see some of the cars we've talked about for sale on Autotrader. And there's also an article about some of the stuff that we have discussed.
Right. Also, like and subscribe so you can get alerts on our show. It's a very good show.
Yeah.
It's very showy.
Bye.